let's get into topic number one, because that was my little Spurs rant. Here's topic number one. New movie predictions of 2025. The first one is Supergirl breaking even, and it already has, even though it isn't out yet, but I've repeated this many times to the Snyder cultists and people that's not in the film industry like me. The box office is not what the theaters look at. We look at the ROI, the return on investment. I have a whole video that I'm going to link down describing how the movie theaters do what they do, what we calculate, and what we look at from studio heads. Numbers are the studios and theaters themselves. This includes Warner Bros., accountants, and etc. The crazy thing is that they won't discuss the ROI in any of these videos, which means the return on investment. It hasn't been released for the current Superman film due to it still being played in theaters, and it usually takes months to 2 years to publicly release the return on investment, the ROI. Most of this is due to limited public disclosure. Movie studios are generally not transparent with the final overall ROI for specific films. These are usually discussions for investors, accountants, studios, execs. You know, James Gunn, if he was just a regular director and not the head of Warner Bros., he wouldn't worry about the ROI. He's just a director. Mainstream idea, not most accurate. Like I said, the mainstream idea with these major grifter YouTube channels, these online movie expert accountants keep on using for this argument is the production cost times 2.5. Let's go into it. So the production cost times 2.5. In Superman's case, production cost is 220 million times 2.5, which equals 550 million, which is the break-even point. Now, that's flawed because that's not what the studios use. This is what the studios use. The most accurate formula that the studios use is production costs plus marketing times 1.5. So after doing the math of that, for Superman 2025, it's 220 million plus 150 million, which give you 370, and you times that by 1.5, which give you 555 million. Whenever you see product of this film being marketed constantly before the release date, those companies paid the studio to do a co-branding deal with the movie. So this might have brought in over $100 million before release. This is profit not a lot of normies know about. Blockbusters like Thunderbolts, Endgame, No Way Home, Civil War, Dark Knight Returns, Avengers 2012, Man of Steel. In this film, this is a common occurrence. And these numbers aren't split, for fact, these numbers aren't split with theaters. That money goes right to the studio. The marketing makes tons of money. Now, here's one thing that the Snyder bots steady, like they keep on saying this online. You guys are going to see this a lot. And Chesterville and all of these. Let's also use adjusted for inflation. They keep saying it. We have to adjust for inflation. I keep seeing this, but it's a terrible and untrue argument. So for Zack Snyder's Man of Steel 2013, the production budget for that film was $225 million. Adjusted for inflation is $310.5 million. The marketing for that film was $100 million. And adjusted for inflation, which is $138 million. The total studio cost for that film was $325 million adjusted for inflation. It would be $448.5 million. So the total revenue after everything for Man of Steel, it made a total net profit of $59 million. So this is a guy that works for DC, Marvel. I work with them. I do marketing, digital marketing, like that type of stuff. And then sometimes I did BTS when I was in like college and interning. But right now I do digital marketing with Marvel, NBA, NFL, but mostly right now Marvel. So, and then the films I was on was Doomsday, and then with James Gunn was this Supergirl film, and then I was also on Wonder Woman. But I haven't been on any other Marvel sets besides Avengers Doomsday and Wonder Man. Not Wonder Woman, but Wonder Man. And then with the DCU, it's only the Supergirl. But I didn't do marketing. I would just BTS, like taking pictures and that stuff on set. And that's like a small time freelance gig. And people that's in the film, that's wanting to get in the film industry, this is directly to those college students and those high schoolers trying to get into it. Apply for freelance jobs, internships. They do a lot of BTS photography, on-set photographers, and they pay like a good $13 an hour to $25 an hour, depending on your experience level. Or sometimes it's free, and then you put that down on your resume. Oh, I was part of this large production. I did BTS. Here's some of my stuff that I'm allowed to share. That's your way. That's your ticket into the industry. This is for those that wants to get into the industry. But moving on, the Spider-Man box office, the final prediction for Supergirl to me is 700 to 900 million. I believe it's going to be between those thresholds. That's going to be the total for me. I'm not going to do opening. I'm not going to say opening night for that because I'm not going to say it's going to flop. I think opening night is going to be 500 to 600 opening night, but then at the end it's gonna make total of 700-900 depending on how the audience goes with it, and it's not gonna go well due to the fact that there's fake conservatives, MAGA conservatives. They're fake Republicans. They're not real. They're just rage bait people online that took the main actress words out of context. They didn't read the whole thing. They was like, she said something about Christian dads, but it wasn't disrespecting Christian dads. I'm going to put the quote up in post, but I'm live, so you guys will see it. Next, a Spider-Man box office prediction, 900 million opening night and to $1.9 billion. So $1.9 billion. And then here's a little scooper. The total runtime is going to be 2 hours and 30 minutes. Now, Marvel had it at 2:45, and Kevin Feige and them wanted it more, around 2 hours and 10 minutes, and then let the credits, and then add. Okay. But, how do I say? All right. But, yeah, I'm going to stick on the numbers. 2:30 runtime. That's going to be the opening for that. And now on to Avengers Doomsday. Since I've been on set, since I know what's going on within parts of the script I was able to read, and the times I was on there, and just looking at the numbers and what they're pushing in and what promos, and I know when the first teaser trailer drops. It's like, here's the thing. The first teaser is going to drop in the next. It's going to drop in a couple weeks. Actually, a couple weeks. The first teaser is scheduled to drop in a couple weeks. I'm gonna leave it vague right there. Take it how you want it. You like sources, but talking to somebody who does marketing. But yeah, that is scheduled, and if it doesn't, it's going to drop that day. The day I have marked down here, it's going to drop that day, due to the fact that they can't go over that day because they're losing money if they change the date, and they don't want to lose money there because they need, based on what I'm seeing, what Marvel needs, they need to make every dollar. They could have done the Super Bowl, but most of us was like advice. I was like, what's the point of spending more on the Super Bowl when we could do it on a bigger day? And the summer is a better way to showcase the trailers or whatever. I don't get why Sony didn't do the Spider-Man thing directly on the Super Bowl. That was kind of dumb. But that's them. That's their loss. That's Sony. That's not a Marvel thing. But I know with Disney and Marvel, what they want to do with Avengers Doomsday. Here's the thing, without spoiling. Here's the thing. Avengers Doomsday, the teasers, it's a story. It's a story being told. There's going to be a few teasers dropping before the main trailer drops. So there's going to be one, and there's going to be two. And then they're going to be weeks apart. It's not going to be like way far apart. But then you have the main trailer, and then they're not doing any small spots. They don't want to do that. The main trailer is going to drop like around the time they redo I think Infinity War and Endgame in theaters. Because there's some scenes added onto those. Everybody knows this, but there's scenes added onto those. And let me confirm one of the leaks. Right? There's one, all the leaks that's been on X, all of them been wrong besides one. But here's another thing. With this teaser, there's gonna be some controversy, and I already know the chuds, the fake, conservative right online rage baiters, like these grifters, they're gonna hate it. They gonna find a way to hate it, because there's a scene with another character in there. But that's all I'm gonna say. Those characters have a significant role in it, but you won't see them in the next film. But that's what they have. But here, let's get to the numbers thing when it comes to Doomsday. Right? First teaser has to drop on this specific date due to the fact that Marvel doesn't want to spend more. They do not want to miss a deadline. They do not want, because this is already put in. This is already into the system. That's how the movies and all that, when they get things confirmed and stuff, they already have it on the calendar. They already have it on the schedule. So if Marvel goes past that and wants to extend it and push it back, they're spending more money that they need to make for Secret Wars. Now, I know a little bit about Secret Wars, but I don't know, I only know 0.5% about it. Right? I know 0.5. I'm not part of that. I'm handling Doomsday stuff. If I do Secret Wars, hey, y'all better pay me millions. Hey, no. But that's, with this, they just want to see audience reactions or whatever, so they're going to, what Marvel's doing, they're filtering out a lot of the rage bait channels and all that. They want to go through people they're looking at the channels that's more fair, more neutral. So you have people like Real Rejects or the Angry Joe Show, you have the John Campeas, you have Blind Wave, you have the normies, you have those type of people. You also have, you guys are not going to like this, a lot of the, there's some left-wing people on here too. Believe it or not, he's neutral. I thought he was more of a grifter hater, but he's neutral. They're going to be looking at the Tyrone Magnus. Another person that's going to be neutral in this is, what's the channel name? I don't forgot about it, but that person is also, AirrickDeBunks. D-Eric, I'm just going to say AirrickDeBunks. He's one of the most neutral channels out there. He's going to give the positive and, he's going to get the negative reviews. So they're looking at channels like that. AirrickDeBunks, the John Campions, Real Rejects, the rock stars. But they were not going to take the rock stars 100% word to the fact that they're going to like everything they see most of the time. They want people that's mostly neutral. Just to see these channels that have these huge fan bases, just to see, okay, that's what's going on here. I'm not going to check out we're not going to do the Jester Bells because marketing. We have those channels filter out because Marvel pay attention to that. Their numbers go. So here's the thing. Here's another thing what Marvel does and Disney. When it comes to these grifter channels, what they do is, if you see a lot of grifter channels like Critical Drinker, sometimes they make a lot of Marvel videos, right? Here's what the marketing team does. If there's so many bad rage bait type of titles and it's nothing but, just misinformation, Marvel and YouTube go hands in hand, just like UMG and Spotify and the DSPs. They go hand in hand. Marvel and Disney, they're giving YouTube's making tons of money with that, with the mouse. The mouse is giving them lots of money. Their partnership is peak. So these channels, y'all can't say blackballed, but when Doomsday come out, these channels' numbers are going to decrease because Marvel, their team's not paying attention to them. Yes, with the freaking She-Hulks and stuff and the pandemic and all that, yeah, those channels were paid attention to a lot. But right now, with their biggest film of all time, Doomsday, what I know is they panic. On set, everybody was panicking. A lot of people, it was vibes, but people were panicking most of the time due to the fact that this film is the biggest film in Marvel's history. The biggest since Blade, since Marvel Studios even became established. This is bigger than Iron Man. This is bigger than the Spider-Man. This is bigger than Endgame and Infinity War and Civil War and Avengers. When I tell you this film is a make or break for Marvel. They're doing what they're telling you is Secret War is going to reset. Here's the thing though. When you guys watch Doomsday, it might seem like, oh shoot, they're about to go to this world and they're about to reset. No. They're just going to tell them everything because script is still being written and all of that and going through other stuff. And then the pre-production for Secret Wars and location to scout, and that's still going on. They already have the actors. They already have some stuff getting ready to shoot, but they're doing post-production while on set and trying to do some post-production before pre-production so they can save the budget. That's what we did with Doomsday. So what we're doing here is when that teaser comes out, they're paying attention to everything. Okay, this is going here. I want to put something at the end of that Spider-Man. Sony already okayed it that leads into the film. So y'all going to have to stay during the credits. But Doomsday is... How do I say this without giving anything away? The teaser for Doomsday is going to tell Marvel everything. And then when the official trailer drops, we already know what's coming from the audience. We know what the audience like. This teaser is not going to show that much. The teaser is only going to show 1.5% of the film. But you guys will get a sense of what the film is. But then when the actual trailer drops, that's when you start seeing different marketing from Marvel towards the Doomsday. Like right after the teaser, all throughout September and October, you guys want to see different marketing, you'll see Marvel do stuff that they haven't done, right? And there's select theaters that they're going to do, and they're going to invite a lot of these channels, these neutral channels, and have them review the film. And this is going to be between throughout November and December. I'm going to say late November, early December. Because they want, the media reviews of the film and all that, but they want the general audience review. This is going to be a small little thing that Marvel hasn't really done much. They've done it before, but it's going to be, no, James Gunn did it, but Marvel hasn't really done it for a film like this, right? You're going to see some people might debunk me in the comments saying, Endgame Infinity War, but no, that's not what's going on. What they're doing is they're going to invite some fans, some critics. They go send invitations to these channels. And there's more. There's a list of 30 channels I have, but the popular ones are going to get this. Oh, yeah. The rock stars. I take that back. Rock stars. Because I was for it, but there was other people against, but I think they should. Right? They're the biggest Marvel people there. MCU, they carried everything. So, I'm going to say it's 100% rock stars are going to get it. An invite. They can discuss the invite, but with the packet, what they're going to get, the email that's going to be sent, will say, can I share? You can say this and that, but the moment you spoil, it's the moment you're done. We can do a lot. Marvel can, like with these channels, right? Marvel can literally go down a list. I haven't given a suggestion, but being around them, I know how they operate. Marvel and Disney would look at these channels and be like, oh, a lot of copyrighted material. I can easily strike this channel down with a press of a button. Same for these channels that's listed. They can easily strike these channels down for spoiling with the press of a button. And people think, oh, it's just Feige. No. There's people 10 times more crazier than Feige. You got the average, you got somebody that might be chilling in a wheelchair that you walk by, but you don't know that person works for Marvel and is high up in the department, right? So you have my channel, you be like, oh yeah, he's probably lying. I don't care what people think, but actually I do care what people think, 'cause, yeah. But you could literally, you couldn't tell. And John's not gonna. I know like John Campea or the Robert Meyer Burnett's. They're not gonna go out and be like, "Oh yeah, I received the thing from Marvel to see early screening." I'm a fan of them, but there's 9 times out of 10 they're going to get that. They're probably not going to discuss it, but they're going to get it because I know for fact. Plus that Daniel guy on X, that Insider Scoop, he didn't get the full script, but he got a portion of it. And I know John and Rob. I don't know if they talked about it. But, because I've been busy doing marketing, and I've been busy, but I haven't kept up on their channels that much. But Rob and John Campea, I believe they did. There's channels that receive scripts from Marvel. There's channels that receive some type of spoiler information, but not 100% spoiler. All they know is less than 10%. I know a total of, when it comes to Doomsday, I know 60%. That's a lot, but I know 60%. Read half the I know 60% of what's going on. And due to the fact that, the marketing and numbers, I have to know what's going on. I have to see, all right, this is what's going on in film. Oh, I want to make sure this is right and this. But that's just to get the movie out there. And like I said earlier in all my videos, what we pay attention to in Marvel and Disney is the ROI, return on investment. We do care about the box office numbers a little bit, but that's just for what you guys do. And then what they usually do is some weird method where they do this times this, but no, Marvel does a whole, I'm going to link my whole video explaining what we do at Marvel and Disney, how we calculate these numbers. Another YouTuber that called this out was AirrickDeBunks. AirrickDeBunks, I'm kind of suspicious of his channel because I was like, he might know somebody that works in marketing at Marvel, or he's just smart. He's a smart person that look things up and actually read. A lot of people do that. I know John Campea knows his information too, but Eric, he said in one of his videos the same thing I said, like something similar, but not to the detailed version I did. But he said something similar. This is how we calculate. Like, this is how they calculate. I was like, oh, wait. He on point. But, yeah. Besides that, what say you? What are your thoughts? Comment down below.